What's up, everybody? This is Lofa Tatupu, former All-Pro linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks. Jumping on today. Coming up is our pod with I Only Touch Greatness. So make sure you zone in and catch it.
Hey, just like your company.
Yeah.
Looking for the most beers on tap, great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B. Pub.
We got the best beers, steaks, chicken wings, nachos in town. Come see us at the John B. Pub.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Come sign up for our football pool. Say Hayes sent you.
The #1 sports podcast in Vancouver with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike.
From their own 38. Healy to the air on first down. It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu. The first pass of the game is intercepted, and Tatupu brings it all the way back inside. Healy picked off on the first play from scrimmage.
Bad decision by A.J. Feely. Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix. It looks like he might be bringing pressure, but he turns and runs. A.J. Feely loses sight of him. I mean, he's running stride for stride with L.J. Smith. I don't know how he didn't see him on that throw.
Third down and 6. Feely intercepted for the second time by Tatupu. Lofa Tatupu scored his only career touchdown against the Eagles, and he brings this one all the way back to the 8-yard line. Tatupu with his second interception of the first quarter.
He's completely covered. Here's Lofa Tatupu. Watch him. He's just going to look right at A.J. Feely, read his eyes, drop right into that area. I mean, he's kind of baiting him. He slides a little bit to his right. Looks like he's going to cross his formation. Greg Lewis on the slant. Here comes Lofa Tatupu right into the throwing lane.
4 down and 7. Moments to go, a 64-yard punt return by Brian Westbrook to put the Eagles in this position. Third interception today for Lofa Tatupu.
I mean, the guy must be invisible. I mean, he has to be invisible to A.J. Feely.
Lofa Tatupu ties the Seahawks franchise record with his third interception today, and that will seal the victory for Seattle.
DJ made another one.
So born in Cali, when did you start playing football, and did you play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I was born in California, so I was born during the strike year of '82, and so it was my dad's 3rd or 4th year with the Patriots, and in that off season or whatever, the layoff, we went back to San Diego where my mom's family's from, and I didn't start playing football until the legal age was like 7, and I tried to play at 6 because I was a bigger kid, I was heavy, but I didn't make the cutoff, so I had to wait till I was 7, 1st grade. And I played everything growing up, and I think that's a mistake a lot of kids aren't doing these days. They're just sticking to one sport, and they're either getting burnt out on it, or they're not really growing, because every sport teaches you something differently. Like baseball, situational awareness, where the ball's hit, you go over those situations every single pitch. Basketball, the speed and tempo, and you had better be on a swivel. And I actually attribute a lot of my interceptions to the steals I was able to get in basketball. And so, and then football, it was my love, and so that's why I stuck with it the longest. But I mean, basketball, I still play to this day, and I think kids need to play every sport. I think they're limiting, the athlete they can become by just playing one.
And
but that's for sure. Hang on, that's for sure too. That the kids nowadays, they go out there and they're only sticking to one sport. We were having this talk about with the prospects, and that we have all these hockey guys that they're all stuck just doing hockey, and they're, like you're saying, they're getting burnt out by the time that they're in their 20s, and because they've never played any other sports.
Oh man, and that's a grind too. And the gym I trained back in Boston at, that's what in the off season they had a lot of hockey guys, and it's tough, man. It's a tough sport to make it in, and like you said, just sticking to that, it just kind of limits you, right? So there's a couple guys over there. A kid, Charlie Coyle, he's been in. I've known him since he was like 14, and a great kid. I mean, he easily could have played tight end in the NFL. I mean, he was one of the biggest, strongest, fastest in that gym. Incredible athlete, and I'm just glad he's having the career he is. A great kid.
Yeah, he had a good year. He had a good year. He had a good year this year at Boston too. So it's good to see.
Oh yeah, they brought him back home, and he's just been balling.
Yeah, exactly. And being the son of a legend, did you actually get to watch him play much, or were you too young?
Yeah, I did. My last year, or his last year playing was the 90 season. So I was 8, almost 9 years old.
Okay.
And, so I remember going to the games, and I think that's what hooked me, right? That's what it drew me to the sport. I mean, I remember going to the games, and my dad went down on special teams and made a big hit, like knocked someone out, and the roar of the crowd, it was like a gladiator moment where everybody, there's guys spilling beer up there on me in the 300 section, high five, telling me, hey, your dad's the fucking man. And so, I mean, when you get that experience, you want that. And so, my dad was, like you said, that was my hero, and I wanted to do what Dad did, and so I got into the family biz. I mean, I didn't have as easy of a road as him. I went the path less traveled. Everywhere he went, he was one of the best players, and he got a ton of scholarships to any college you want. He had scholarships for all 3 sports, if you can believe it, and so I was the opposite, man. I had to fight for everything I got, but I think that's, I earned it, and that's what was special about it, is that, nothing was given to me. Even when my dad was who he was, I didn't get recruited out of high school. I went to 1AA, University of Maine, transferred. Everybody told me I was making a mistake. And, and then of course, when I left after 2 national titles at SC, they were saying I was making a mistake leaving as a junior, but I was just, I knew what I was doing, and I loved what I was doing. So I just followed my heart. Yeah,
you had a good couple of years there with USC. And did you not get to play for Pete Carroll there before you went to Seattle?
No, I played for Pete.
Yeah, that's great.
My first year was Pete's second year, and he was really starting to turn the program around. He brought in a top 10 recruiting class, the first of many. But, you had, I think, that was like Mike Williams, Dominique Bird, like just some absolute studs, right? And and then from there, he got even more powerful classes. And so, but the foundation was set with leaders like Carson Palmer and Troy Polamalu, who we had on defense. And then that season we went 11-2. I had a red shirt. I couldn't play because of transfer rules. But, that's where we set the foundation. And so we went 11-2 the next year, 12-1, split national title. The next year, 13-0, outright national title. And then I made the decision to leave, which, shocked people again, just like when I did for Maine. But I don't know, man. You got to chase your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. And then take me back to draft day in 2005, second round, 45th overall to the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, I mean, again, like I said, no one expected me to get drafted. At least, that's what all the experts were saying, 5th, 6th round at best. Because I didn't really have a good combine. I didn't wow them on the field, but I think I did well in the interview process about what kind of value I could add to the team. And I think that was my superpower, was helping people play faster and maximizing their potential by taking out the thinking for them. That's what I did. That was my job. So draft day was a dream come true. I had about 50 or 60 of my friends and family in Oceanside, California. We were at one of my dad's roommate's house, from his roommate from SC, and he was gracious enough to let us use his house on the beach. And the funny thing was, I didn't find out that I was getting drafted. I didn't get the call. I didn't, because there was no cell service, and so. All of a sudden, it beeps up. Doo-doo-doo. The Seahawks trade up. They select Lofa Tatupu, and we all just go crazy. Food, drinks going everywhere. It was. I think it was more fitting that it happened that way, because just like my career, no one saw it coming. So it was fun. I'll never forget it. And then Holmgren got on the call. Literally 10, 15 minutes later, he's like, "Yo, they're telling me how smart you are, but you didn't check for cell service. On the beach."
Yeah.
So right away, me and Homer got off to a great start, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. You got the stat.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, what was it like first running on that field for your first game in Seattle?
Oh man, incredible. Well, let me just take it back to the first game. So against Jacksonville, so hot. Right. And we fight and fight. We had a lot of turnovers. There was a lot of mistakes that we made. And I knew they were going to be a good team. That Jacksonville team, they were tough. But I'll never forget walking off that field. And literally, I got to my locker. We had the team break down, and I sat down and I just took it all in. And I had a little bit of a cry, because it was the first time in 2 years I had lost a football game.
Wow.
We went 25-1 at SC in 26 games. The only loss coming to Cal and Aaron Rodgers. That guy was pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, not a bad player.
Still pretty damn good, huh? So that really set in, and a couple of the guys were like, "Hey man, this ain't college. You can't win every game." And it's just, but that was, it's tough to accept when you go on a run like we did at SC. And then, of course, we went on that run, for the Super Bowl. But that next game, at home, it was Quest at the time, and the crowd going absolutely nuts. It's everything you could have hoped for and experience. And we have the best fans and the loudest fans. And
yeah, we do.
Oh, it's hard for opposing teams to play in there, but it's hard for the defense to play in there too, because they're going nuts when you're on the field, right? And so. But it's fun, and it's exciting for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, is what's it like on the other side? Because I know I'm standing there screaming at the top of my lungs from the Delta Club seats, and I'm screaming and screaming and screaming, just like everybody else around me, to the point where you got to put the earplugs in. So being on the field at CenturyLink, or what's it called now, but
you walk off the field, you can't hear, and I lose my voice every Sunday, and it takes me because I'm trying. We have to go to hand signals eventually, because it's deafening out there. The D line can't even hear you, and that's why a lot of times if we said move and they didn't do it, we'd have to get up there and push them. We're like, hey, gap right, gap left, and so it was. But it's a definite advantage. And thinking back, what was it? I think it was the Giants game, and with those 10 false starts, they won the game for us. The fans won the game for us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike, actually.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you had success right away, making your first Pro Bowl and Super Bowl in your first year. It's a pretty nice way to start your NFL career.
Yeah, everybody gets lucky. So I went into a great situation. I worked my ass off, which that's, when a lot of younger guys, they ask for advice, for me, like, hey, how did you do it as a rookie? I just came in, kept my mouth shut, worked hard, and earned the respect and trust of my peers. And then we had a great offense, and and on defense, we really had a brotherhood that played together, that played within the scheme very well. Led the league in sacks. We're up there in turnovers, and then we were like top 3 or 4 in red zone defense. And if you're there in those categories, even if I think we were probably 12th or 5th, middle of the pack in yards, but that doesn't matter, that stat, that the yardage, it's how many points you giving up and things of that nature. And then, so, we led the league in sacks, and not one person had double-digit sacks. And so if that doesn't talk about a total defensive team effort, I don't know what does. And we love playing together. And I think we took on that little brother role next to our offense. Like, hey, let's go out there and go get our respect, boys. And we did. And so that year was probably one of the most fun. I think we went on a 10 or 11 game winning streak before we lost to Green Bay. But I mean, Holmgren pulled the whole offense. He left the defense out there. Yeah, it's because I think, if that was supposed to be Favre's last game in 2005, even though he didn't retire until 2010.
Right? Shoot one.
Yeah. And then taking you back to your first interception return for a touchdown, I believe it was a Monday night game against the Eagles.
Yeah. That was, the whole defense was on fire that game. I think we won 42-0 Monday night. We were up like either 28 or 35-0 at half. Dyson had 2 touchdowns, so we were like the co-player of the game. He had a 72-yard interception to start it off. Then I scored, and then he had a fumble recovery. Leroy forced a fumble on Moats, and he picked it up and went in. So, we even if we didn't have the offense, we were 21-0 in that game, and it was awesome. I read the formation. It was trips to our right side, and on the down and distance, I was looking at it. I said, hey, okay, if they don't run a zone, which is kind of what that offense like to run, I'm gonna, I was man 3, so locked up on the tight end. And as soon as he stemmed up about 5 yards, I took like one back step, and then I watched him as he turned. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I didn't think they were taking a shot. And, he ran the stick route, and I just undercut it and outran the quarterback to the end zone. Luckily, it was only 38 yards. If it was 40 yards, I think he would have caught me.
Yeah, those 2 extra yards really come into play there. Do you have any hobbies nowadays outside of sports?
Hobbies? I love being a fan of the game, like a true fan. Like, what? Still emotionally tied to the Hawks. So, like, when we have those, fourth quarter comeback, it's amazing. Yeah. But when we fall short, it's like rips your heart out, right?
Oh, of course it does.
But no, man, raising 2 boys out here, me and my wife. I got a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old, and homeschooling was pretty interesting last year. But I think they learned a couple things, and so that's always good. I got a couple of businesses up here in Seattle. One's a cannabis business, 1937 Farms, and in the I-502 legal recreational cannabis industry. And then off of that, a zone in CBD. I found health and wellness through hemp and cannabis, and this is hemp derived, so it's federally legal in all 50 states. And hopefully one day we can get it up to you guys too.
Absolutely, that would be sweet. I was going to talk about that. Your zone in. I see it growing quite a bit with all your posts and stuff, and a lot of people are loving your products. I see.
It changed my life. Football, as amazing as it was to me, it was also, I didn't realize how brutal it really was in terms of, I've had 10 surgeries in my life. 8 of them came from football. But nothing was worse than like the 15 plus concussions. I got about 3 or 4 concussions a year. And the brain injury, man, you're hearing how, people are coming out and talking about how important mental health is. Obviously for the right reasons, because we all deal with stuff, and that, man, was a major setback. And I really feel like that, I'm not making excuses, but that did, shorten what was once a promising career, a good career. And so, I wouldn't change anything. It's, because it's led me to this, to what I'm doing now, and changing people's lives and letting them know about the benefits, mental, physical and even emotional. And so I'm, forever grateful for what I did. And you know what? I was in the NFL. I wasn't there for a long time. I was there for a good time. And so
that's right. That's right. Like Trooper said.
And that's a Vancouver band too.
That's what?
That's a Vancouver band that sings that song. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
It was meant to be then.
Yeah. And what I was gonna say was the concussions. Yeah, man. I'm one that's been through many of them from hockey, and then one time I fell on the back of my head drunk in Mexico, and I was like flopping around on the ground like a fish out of water, and my buddy's like, wake up. He's like, move your legs, and I couldn't move my legs, and I just right? I was hit so hard, and I literally, there's things I noticed, like leaving the cupboard door. I never before would forget to close the cupboards, but I would leave the cupboard door open or the light on now, or
yeah. And I mean, and that sounds like, minute or little to most people, but then what happens when it's a stove? Because I've done that. And what happens, we're walking into a room, I'm 31 years old, this was 8 years ago, walking into the room and just like, man, what the hell did I come in here for? I knew I had a purpose. I mean, I knew I had a purpose and a reason to come in here. And now and then the frustration builds, and then it's a cycle. And that's what takes a toll on your mood, your overall wellness, your stressors, and how much you tense up. And so, I mean, this stuff has been a godsend, and I believe in the hemp and cannabis plant. I believe this is what the world needs with all the stuff we deal with, internally as well as externally. Man, the little shit don't matter to me anymore. I don't care. Like, I mean, I'm even so like road rage. I used to have that shit bad, man. And I mean, I can laugh now because I nothing happened, thank God. But I mean, it's just that brief moment where you lose your mind. You're temporarily insane. You're not you. Yep. And it's the fight or flight, right? And especially as a football player, I'm gonna fight. Like that's what we were taught. And so that is tough, when you transition into the everyday world. And so this is something that's been not just game changer. This is life changer for me. And I'm on a mission to help change other people's lives.
And out of curiosity, not trying to say you're old at all because we're about the same age, but how many people used CBD back then? Was it a thing as much back then when you played? I know it wasn't that long ago, but were many people using it, or were they mostly just using painkillers and shit like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, you do what the doctor tells you to do, but I mean, the smart ones, the enlightened ones, they were using cannabis, and I mean, they didn't know it, but in the cannabis, they were getting small doses of CBD, and I know the stigma. Everyone's like, oh, he just likes to get high, but no, I know several very successful individuals in the sport that they were doing it medicinally. I mean, yeah, they used the THC because I don't know how many people were out there selling hemp back in the day. So the difference between hemp and cannabis is just the varying amounts of THC, but CBD from the molecule CBD from each one is structurally the same. It's just one's illegal federally and one's not now. And so, like I said, if I knew I could just smoke hemp and be fine, with everything, like my body, mind, body, and soul, absolutely, you're going to reach for that over the opiates, the anti-inflammatories, all the stuff that the sleep meds. I mean, it's incredible what this stuff's doing in terms of healing.
And that's definitely for sure. I agree with that. I like to use them for like bad backs and your sleep-ins and all those things. I mean, it's also good. It makes for a good day. But
So I mean, even like you said, you fell on the back of your head. I mean, I remember getting hit one time and falling in the game on the back of my head. And, I played through it. It was a mild concussion, but I played through it because I did many other times. Went to the side, got the smelling salt. And I noticed out of my right eye, I couldn't really see clearly. And I was like, oh, it'll go away. Well, this shit didn't go away for 8 years. That was 2006, 2007. And so it was called fluid in the macula. And so I finally went to the doctor after I retired. And I was like, yo, I can't really see out of my right eye. What is going on? And I explained to him, it just looks like there's a black dot and I can't, I feel like I'm almost blind if I close my left eye. And he did the MRI or X-ray, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you have fluid in there." And I was just like, "Okay, what's that from?" And he said it's usually from stress. And I've come across a couple people that have had it too, but I remember that happening when the hit happened. And I mean, nothing I took post, none of the vitamins, any of the things I took after ball that were supposed to be dietary, supplements to help. None of them took that away. And this has not taken away, but it's shrunk it drastically where I do have decent vision on my right eye.
Mike,
Oh, wow.
Mike, you remember just even a couple weeks ago I said that to you that I couldn't see a thing out of my eye. Like it was like blurry.
I'm telling you,
Mine's
go talk to your doctor. I guarantee you he'll tell you it's fluid in your macula.
Yeah.
You tripped me out there because my right eye's been twitching for like weeks, and like I kind of randomly see like a black,
That's
like
your
a
COVID
black
shot.
like shadow. That's not my COVID shot. Two of my favorite Seahawks, Matt Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander. What was it like playing with them, and what did you learn from them?
Awesome. Those guys, they're two of the best of their position when I came in. So, I mean, just how to be a pro. And then, I always watched, Sean growing up, at Bama, just breaking all those records. So had a lot of respect for him. And then Matt's dad and my dad played together in New England. And so I had known Matt since I was a kid. I'm a couple years younger than him, so I competed against his youngest brother. But, so we had some ties going back to Massachusetts right there.
Okay, right on.
I got a question that wasn't on my sheet of questions here. How often do people check the mail? Like players check the mail at the Seahawks, like fan mail. Do they actually look at that stuff?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's a lot, but
yeah, of course.
We have cubbies and we go and we grab it. And then, we go home and try to knock out as much as you can. But it adds up. There's times where it is just, you go, you get it all done, one week or one, couple weeks. You come back like 2 weeks later and it's just stuffed. And it's just like, whoa. And so I'm still going through some that I had from back in the day. And now I'm sure some people have moved. I'm sure there's probably like a 22-year-old kid now, like getting a Lofa Tatupu football card that's sent it 10 years ago. So sorry, but I'm going to try to get everything done now.
Yeah, that's funny.
What ended up making you call it quits, by the way? Was it the pectoral injury?
No, and a lot of people think that. I mean, like I said, it was really the concussions and just, my body started to, my mind and body were just not on the same page, and I was not able to do the things, even in that last season. Statistically, it wasn't that bad. We were in a new scheme, which was tough, but hey, shit happens, man. You gotta do what you can. And it's unfortunate, but it didn't display what I did best. I was sitting there taking on a guard the whole time. And I was not meant for that. For that.
No.
Those are the guys in the 3-4 that are like 6'2", 260, 250. They're the hammers that come down. I'll take on the double team. So if there's two guys on my D tackle, I'm gonna go punch one of them in the mouth. But just head up with a guy that's 350. You got to do what you got to do. So like I said, it wasn't terrible, but we did make the playoffs, which I was grateful for. Getting back to the playoffs after a 2-year layoff. In 08 and 09 we missed it after making it the first 3 years. So. But yeah, it was the cumulative of all the injuries that, like I said, I had, and me not feeling my best. And it's sad because I feel like if CBD was more well known about, that's why I'm such an advocate now, because I know this can add years on to guys that are hanging on right now. Guys like I was at 30, like they can go play the game they love, and then not even more so, they can transition much smoothly than a lot of us do, because they're not dealing with all that pain on a day-to-day basis. It's because it works on your pain receptors too. And whether it creates more endorphins or serotonin to get you in the right mental mindset, because that's where it all starts, like I said before.
So if you could sit down for dinner with anyone famous, dead or alive, who would you bring? Let's go with 3.
3. See, I'm terrible at these on the spot ones.
Oh, I got a few more for you, so get ready.
Well, I'm just going to go with one, man. And you said dead or alive. I'd bring my dad back for one more dinner. I lost him 11 years ago. Not a day goes by, not a moment goes by I don't think about him. I wish he could have met his grandkids because that's all he wanted. He always like, hey, when am I going to get grandkids? And I was like, well, my sister's older. And he was like, all right, never mind. But yeah, man, I don't know. Just there was a lot of, because I lost him before I became a father. And so that, for me, this is when I really got questions. I didn't really have a whole lot of questions, other than football and technique. Like, we were close, but for the most part, I always try to figure things out on my own. But with kids, I mean, that's a different beast altogether. I'll take all the help. Like, if you got kids and you know something that I don't, please tell me, because I'm just trying to get better as a parent and learn more. But yeah, I'm gonna go with my dad. I would love to have another dinner with him and just, I don't know, man, just talk about how did he
about grandkids?
Yeah, what's that?
And just talk about grandkids.
Yeah, how did he get me to do what I did?
Yeah, right.
Him and my mom, right? So they did something right with me and my sister. So I need to know that. I need to know those tips.
Perfect. Mike?
Yeah, I was going to hit him with, what was your favorite road stadium you played in?
I mean, I got to say Philly, and, I had my best games there too, but.
Yeah, you did. Game after game. I don't know what it was. Every time I saw you either playing in Philly or even against Philly at home, you just went off. I don't know what it was about Philly.
I think, Andy Reid is a decipher from Holmgren. And so, there's a lot of similarities in their scheme. I mean, they'll change a lot for game week, each, but there's some familiarity in what they like to do. So the tendencies are there, but the Philly fans, oh man, I love the Philly fans, and they hate me. That's fine. But I just, I'm from the East Coast, so I love that shit talking that they do. And like, they're just, you're telling you you're worthless. You're telling me I'm short. And I was like, well, those are the obvious things. Like, so why don't you say something that could actually hurt me?
Eagles fans are the worst.
Oh, it's amazing. When you do the intros, they won't let you come out as a team. Because I was like, hey, we're coming out as a defense. And the guy at the front, he goes, no, you're coming out individually. And I was like, whatever. So when you come out individually, they'll say, middle linebacker from Southern California, Lofa Tatupu, and then the fan, all in one breath, sucks. So they let you have it. But it's pretty cool though. It's a fun experience.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with being short. Ryan's still waiting for his growth spurt.
Yeah, my doctors told me in elementary school that my growth spurt was coming, so I've been waiting 40 years for it.
Hey, it's coming, brother. It's coming.
One of these mornings I might wake up a little taller. Maybe if I had your CBD.
Hey, never know. Know.
As soon as you said that, Ryan, I was thinking of this song. I wish I was taller.
My Skilo. I wish I was a little bit taller. I'm going to be in Seattle actually for a bunch of games this year. I might have to stop by one of your stores.
Oh, let me know, man. Let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, you got one?
Yeah. Any? Did you have any pregame rituals or routines?
I really didn't. I mean, you go out of the field, you warm up. I think the biggest thing for me was, finding the balance. You never want to be too up for any game and wear yourself out. You don't want to be too lethargic. So I think it was the playlist that would vary, right? So I mean, I had some staples. I always had Tupac in there, heavy. My favorite song, Can't See Me, that was always in there. But if it was like a big game and I needed to, bring my mindset and mood down, and ease the tension, I would listen to some reggae or something like that. And just opposite, like if it was, an early morning game and, the other team wasn't very good, and you got to get them, the move going. I mean, hardcore rock. I mean, from when I was a kid, like Korn. I mean,
Follow the leader.
Pearl Jam, Nirvana, all anything I could get going and rock out to. So it was about finding that balance for me.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm all rap. I grew up on all rap music, but the one or two bands that I did like, Nirvana and Korn. Because Korn did stuff with Ice Cube back in the day, so I would on the Follow the Leader album, and then so I've always been kind of a fan of them as well. But you said Tupac there, and that's my answer to if I could sit down for dinner with anyone, my answer is Tupac.
No shit. I mean, that's my favorite rapper of all time.
Me too. Anything Death Row, I was all a big fan of.
Yeah, he was insane, man.
He named his dog after Tupac.
Yeah, my French bulldog's name is Tupac.
That is amazing.
And then we actually, the Humpty Hump song, right? With from Digital Underground, right? Yeah, Money B. We had him on the show recently. Money B from Digital Underground.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and that was pretty good. Bone Thugs and Harmony. We had Busy Bone.
That was my favorite group when I was young.
My favorite group too.
Yeah, that's why we don't do live, because Ryan sometimes says some stuff.
Hey, he just keeps it real.
Yeah, you got it. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got any hidden talents?
Nah, still looking for him, man.
Okay.
What about sports memorabilia? Do you got any collecting?
I got a jersey collection, because back when I played, even though it wasn't that long ago, they weren't letting you switch out all these jerseys. So you had to go to the guy on the side, hey man, just take that shit off here. Take this jersey, I'm gonna take yours. You'd have to take it back stinky. And now they give you 3 jerseys. You pass it to 3 different guys each week. It's that could have been a big, marketing thing for them back in the day, but now it seems like they're finally taking advantage of it, but so I got a Brian Dawkins game worn, which one of those games in Philly. We traded jerseys. Lance Briggs Pro Bowl, DeMarcus Ware game worn.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Antonio Pierce, the red one, the Red Giants one. That thing is
okay.
Sick.
Yeah, that is sick.
Who else? I got them all packed away somewhere, but that. I do have a lot of jerseys, and then from the Pro Bowl, you get all these helmets, and you trade. That's when they give you some stuff. You trade your helmet. I got Derek Brooks signed jersey from my.
Oh, cool!
That was sick. That was one of my favorite linebackers to watch. And when we were at SC, Pete is very close with Monty Kiffin, so we used to get their defensive reels and watch them in the summer. And the plays he made were unbelievable.
That's sweet.
One of the most insane, linebacking plays I've ever seen.
Hopefully you still got your jersey from the Super Bowl game.
I think I gave that away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah. There was a kid in the hospital. I gave that to him.
Okay. That's fair.
He wasn't able to make the game. I gave it to him.
Okay.
So I got a Seahawks question for you. If you got the ball on the 2.5 yard line, are you running the ball? Or are you throwing the ball? This breaks my heart every time.
Look, shit happens, right?
I know.
Now it's hindsight, right? Now, if that pass comes down, no one gives a shit. It's second title and whatever. But
you never know. You could have fumbled the ball. Anything could have happened.
True. Yeah. So, but I think the obvious, looking back, is you give them another chance to punch it in. But it wasn't so much passing the ball that had me question it. It was, why don't you get Russ on the perimeter, a quick rollout, so Russ could either run it in himself or throw it away? Because I think we only have one timeout left, I believe, and you don't want the clock to keep running if you don't get in it, and you don't want to burn that last timeout if you don't have to. So my the tough part about it wasn't the actual passing of the football, but that play, and you got to give credit where credit's due, because they had they didn't have enough guys. They didn't have a whole player really to take away some of the things. One of Seattle's favorite players, from the Legion of Boom, Brandon Browner, jammed the hell out of Jermaine Kearse at the line, and that was where the pick is supposed to happen. And so now that happened, and like Russ, like, okay, if you know that guy's coming over the top, you have to put that on the number or the back hip where that guy can't get it. But it happens so quickly that it's not, you can't. I mean, the kid made a hell of a play. An undrafted kid, that rookie, made the play of Super Bowl history because you know what? He's a football player, and his brother, Brandon Browner, did his job and allowed him to execute. But do you know how many veterans wouldn't have made the play that Malcolm Butler did because they didn't have the confidence to just go? I mean, this is Super Bowl, man. This is everything on the 2-yard line. So, like, again, not defending the decision to put the ball in there, but it's just like we had what we wanted. You could ask Pete, you could ask Russ, all those guys. Of course, they're going to say, yeah, I wish we ran the ball. But that's hindsight, man. You can't live like that.
Have you raised the flag at CenturyLink?
I got to. That was incredible. And I think the most fun part about it, I mean, it's an incredible honor, right? Because, when you're a player, you're down there, you're like, oh, I wonder who's raising the flag today. Because they keep it secret, right? Well, I got to go up there, and, I had just left the linebacking, room from coaching. So all my guys got to see it. And, Bobby, KJ, they're all going to raise the flag, someday. And then on the other side, Brock Coyle was with the Niners. He was with us for 2 years before, so he got to see it too. But my kids got to see it. And I mean, I think, my kids finally realized that I played football, They had heard other people talk about it. I don't really talk about it. They're not into football. My oldest is more into like music and art. So, he's in a band, and I try to just push him into whatever he loves, because that's how he'll be successful. If he loves it, he's always going to work at it. And my youngest, I think he could maybe be third generation, but it was cool to have them up there in the jerseys and be part of it. That was what meant the most to me.
And that was against the 49ers, you said? Then I 100% was at that game probably, because that's how I started my Seahawks thing. I was a 49ers fan growing up, but my buddy Pete Cook started taking me to all these Seahawks games, to only the 49er games. And I would go to the 49er games to see the 49ers. And I know, and then that's how I slowly, after once I walked into CenturyLink and seen how awesome it is in there, it was like, okay, I'm a Seahawks fan here.
I mean, it's an experience.
No, and then I've continued to go to the 49ers games every year, but I've added on more games because they're his season tickets. So.
Oh, right on, man.
So it works out pretty good, but I always go to the 49ers. So I must have been at that game, but I was probably hitting the booze can pretty hard. So
I think it was 2017, the home opener.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, right on, man.
Right?
Lofa, I'm a Bengals fan. Unfortunately, most people chirp me, but do you have any memories about playing the Bengals or in Cincinnati?
Probably winning.
I never played the Bengals in Cincinnati. We played them in 2007 here, and we got to face off against Carson. Who was that? It was Carson, Chad, and TJ.
Chad Johnson, yeah.
And Hushmanzada. They just had. So we the plan was like, we're gonna shut down Chad, and so we doubled him the whole first half. Hoosh turns around, has like 8 for 100 and a touchdown, And so then they're like, all right, you know what? We're going to take the double off of Chad and go put it on Hoosh. So Chad starts going off, coming back, because we were up by a couple touchdowns in the second half. And then, I was like, hey, how about we don't double anybody? Just play it straight up and see how it goes. And we barely got out of there with a win. And so, that was a tough game. That whole division, that AFC North was really, really, that's who we played that year. So Pittsburgh, Baltimore, it's a tough division, man.
Did you end up getting to play with Hoosh too when he came to Seattle?
I did. 2 years later, 2 years later, he came to Seattle for a year or two. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the guy was a beast because a lot like me. He wasn't the biggest, fastest, strongest, but he was a great route runner. His hands were some of the best. And there's a funny story. So Hoosh, he did a route across the middle, and I like batted the ball down, and I was talking shit, and he was like, bro, I'm gonna score a touchdown in this red zone, drill coming up. And I was like, well, it's not gonna be on me. And so he even told me, he's like, it's gonna be on the stick or stick nod, watch. And so I was like, yo, those are my two best, routes. You're not getting a touchdown on that. So he ran the stick nod, and I went for the undercut, but I remember I had his upfield, ribs or hips, so I could turn with him in case he did go vertical. So I'm looking back, Matt pumps, and he holds onto the ball. So I was like, oh, he's not coming. So I turned around, and I just turn around and run up the field with Hoosh for another like 5 yards. And I was like, yeah, I thought the play was over because Matt's like, I can't go there. And I saw him take his eyes off that route. He went to his next option. Well, then all of a sudden, I just hear like a whistle. The ball zips by my ear, and Hoosh just puts his hands up last second and catches it, and he just smiles. and I mean, it was the most nonchalant, like most of the time. So if I'm running with him, you could see a receiver, like their eyes get big, and like it's like it's indicators of like, and their hands go up early. Like he just kept running, and then boop, ball. So I tried to punch it, and like he like moved it last second. It was insane. And that was one of the best, like technicians of the game I've ever seen. This guy was so crafty, and that's why he beat everybody that he went up against. And in a one-on-one, I guarantee you he won 95% of them.
So if there was $1,000 prize on the line for your charity, and you had to sing one karaoke song, what song are you choosing?
I don't know if I know the one song I know every word to is "Can't See Me."
Yeah. I don't know if that's fan friendly though.
And I would crush it. I'll tell you that much. But let's see. Love and Reggae by Collie Buddz.
Okay.
Great. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lofa, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time for us today and coming on. We're big fans of you, and we're big fans since you played for Seattle, obviously, and it meant a lot to us to talk to you today.
Right up, fellas. I appreciate it. And I know there was a lot to get our schedules together. We were talking there for a while, but I appreciate the donation to the Special Olympics, man. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. My dad, my first ever Special Olympics or charity event was going with my dad when I was a kid to a Special Olympics event, and so it just means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to the athletes and the organization. So thank you again for that, and this was fun. Let's do it again in the future, man.
Looking for the most beers on tap, great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B. Pub.
We got the best beers, steaks, chicken wings, nachos in town. Come see us at the John B. Pub.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Come sign up for our football pool. Say Hey sent you.